Thank you very, very much. Okay. I've been looking forward to this moment all day, honestly. So without further ado, beautiful. I can't see your face, but anyway, I will in a minute. Welcome, Skye. Thank you. To share experience, strength, and hope.
Wow. Hello, everyone. I'm Skye. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for that. Thank you, Michael. I'd like to take another moment, if it's okay, I'm wondering how you are, how your day's been. And tonight, I know I'm here to talk about my experience, strength, and hope, but instead, I want to talk about miracles. And just take a moment to breathe and just to feel that the miracle that it is actually that we are all here in this moment alive together. And that's the first miracle. For me, the second miracle is pretty personal, and it's that today I'm 6 months sober. I grew up with a lot of self-loathing. I was a self-loathing creature in very, very thin skin, paper thin skin. I don't know why that happened, whether I was born that way. I had a mother who was active in her alcoholism and was very critical of me. And, that self-loathing grew because of that. I ran away from home when I was young to a woman who had become my sanctuary in life. And I watched her die of alcoholism. My self-loathing got deeper and my thin skin got thinner. And I carried this with me in my life. And I carried this with me and created a fantasy world in my head. Reality just felt too harsh. And I wanted miracles, I retreated into movies and music, and none of them were real and none of them lasted. And I just want to read something here that says, and it's in the Keys of the Kingdom section in the big book. And I love the literature. To me, that's another miracle. I believe it saved my life over this 6 months. I found some old lyrics of mine today that I remembered, and I wrote in my self-loathing, I stay away from mirrors because it's painful what they see. You gave me the kingdom, but I threw away the key. And that was kind of the state I lived in all my life, in this thin skin and this self-loathing. It felt like some kind of cosmic crime because I knew life was precious and I knew life was beautiful. And yet my life felt so difficult in this thin skin with this self-loathing. Particularly when I reached a certain age and a young man that I had grown up with, like a brother to me, was in these rooms and with the same paper thin skin and self-loathing. And he lost his fight against this disease. That was my cousin Matthew. And the night he took his life, I was in town the next morning to meet him for the first time in years. And my auntie phoned and she said, we lost him last night. And I was so full of self-loathing because I'd missed that meeting with him. And it just continued that way and continued that way. I didn't start drinking till I was 30, but when I did, it was with a ferocity, So I was definitely in search of miracles. And I don't mean earth-shattering miracles. Anything would have done. Just the miracle of wanting to stay alive. So today I want to talk about the miracles that are not life-shattering and are not, they don't make the news, they don't make the headlines, but they're the whispering miracles that walk alongside me today as an alcoholic in active recovery. And on page 270, I could relate to this very, very much. It said I had heart sickness, shame, and fear bordering on panic, and no complete escape any longer except in oblivion. Certainly now anyone would have agreed that only a miracle could prevent my final breakdown. But how does one get a prescription for a miracle? Matthew's mum had talked to me about AA for 10 years. And on the anniversary of Matthew's, the 10th anniversary of his death, I probably had the worst week of my life and the worst week of my drinking. That culminated in me banging my head against a train and having an episode at London Bridge. When my girlfriend dropped me off at my house, and I lay in my bed for 2 weeks and drank myself almost to death. The miracle that happened to me was I rang AA on the 15th of September, and a woman picked up the phone and gave me an hour of her life that has given me every hour since. And I got to tell her that today. And that was another miracle, but to thank her. That first miracle that day, when I was in tears and crying and not understanding why I wanted to die, when a part of me knew that life was so precious and so fragile and so beautiful. I'd had moments of sheer bliss in life, usually in nature and in music and in silence or with someone that I loved. I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm drinking myself to death and I can't stop. And she said, it's not you, darling, it's the alcohol. You're sick, you're not bad. That moment, I knew that I wasn't alone. I knew that there were other people like me, and that was the best thing I've ever done for myself in my life, is make that phone call on the 15th of September. She ushered me into Zoom meetings because I refused to leave my house because I stank and I was ashamed, so full of shame. And I came into a Zoom meeting that evening, and I was so confused and scared, but there were women in that meeting that stayed with me until the end of that meeting. And they held me that night, and they told me that I wasn't alone, and they told me that they understood the darkness that I was in. I went to sleep that night just thinking that possibly there'd be a little bit of hope. Maybe there was an answer for me. Maybe there was a miracle for me. I woke up the next morning from answers with messages from these ladies. And after the light that I'd seen in their eyes that I decided I wanted in my life, I did literally everything that they said. I picked up the miracle of friendship. I picked up the miracle of companionship. I picked up the miracle of looking into another human being's eyes and seeing a light that I didn't have and seeing a hope that I didn't have. I picked up the miracle of connection. I picked up the miracle of the program of AA. I fell in love with the literature because anything was better than my head, which was just telling me that I had no hope and no life and no future. I went to meeting after meeting because my hope increased with each meeting. And I had a moment of doubt one day, and I was laying on my back in my bed and I was crying. And there was vomit stains in my bed, and there was blood stains in my bed. And I lay on my back and I was scared, and I'd held on to these women for a week. And I'd just been missing for a few hours, not connecting to these women. And one of them messaged me and she said, "Where are you? Are you okay?" And I said, "I just need a moment to figure this out." And she messaged me back, "Darling, there's not much to figure out in here, just whether you want to live or die." And I've spoken to her since, and that was another miracle, because she said she never would have sent a message like that, but she did that night, and that was another miracle. I carried on and I picked up the tools and I came to meetings. And I started to breathe again and figure out that I had a disease. I had a dis-ease, but I had a disease that had a solution. And that to me was another miracle. I sit here 6 months sober and I'll go to bed tonight in, the same bed that had the vomit stain and the blood stains. But after picking up the tools that were laid in front of me, after having a sponsor in my life that I can speak to, who knows my soul, who knows my darkness, who knows my chaos, the miracle is I am not alone. The miracle is I have people who see me. I have people who know me. I have people who feel me. I have people who have been to the darkness that I've been to and walk a path in front of me. The miracle is the colors have come back. The miracle is when somebody says they love me, I can feel it. The miracle is there are 12 steps ahead of me to take me out of hell. The miracle is my body is clean and my hair is clean and my skin is not cracked and dry and breaking up. They told me get a sponsor, and I when I rang my sponsor, the woman that sponsors me now, I said to her, if you wouldn't mind, if you're not too busy, would you mind helping me save my life? And she's done that every moment since. Literally. Matthew lost his miracle. My Nana lost her miracle. My mum is losing her miracle as she drinks herself to death. But the miracle is, like I said at the beginning, that we are here and I am here. I looked for everything outside of myself. And now I know it is within. On page 55, it says, for faith in a power greater than ourselves and miraculous demonstrations of that power in human lives are facts as old as man himself. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God was a part of our makeup, just as much as the feeling we have for a friend. Sometimes we had to search fearlessly, but he was there. He was as much a fact as we were. We found the great reality deep down within us. That is another miracle for me, that I no longer need to look outside of myself for these answers. If you would have told me 6 months ago today that I would have the people in my life that I have, I wouldn't believe you. I grew up an only child and a lonely child, and the relationships that I formed in 6 months are nothing short of a miracle to me. When I look in the mirror now, a woman looks back at me and I like her. I'm beginning to love her. Someone sent me something today that talks about a mustard seed. And if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And they sent me this little gift with a mustard seed in. And the miracle for me is that is all I need. All I need is a mustard seed. And the rest of faith from picking up the tools. The miracle is we're all here together and we're human. And on the 15th of September, I was suicidal, and now I am so hopeful. And I love AA. And I absolutely love the miracle that is in front of me. I wake up in the morning and I want to live, and that's a miracle. The woman who temporarily sponsored me and the woman who sent me the message and said that there's not much to figure out here, just whether you want to live or die, sent me a card today. And if you take one message from this tonight, I just want to read you this before I go. And she said, the goal is not to stay sober, but the aim is to love yourself so much that that you don't have to drink. And if you take anything away from tonight, that's the miracle that in this program and with these beautiful people that see our souls and hold our heartache, we can learn to live with a love for ourselves. That means that we never have to drink, that we don't have to drink. The miracle is I am not alone. And for me, that is the miracle.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Skye. That was brilliant.